Imagine helping build one of the most successful dating apps on the planet, and then getting pushed out of your own company, publicly humiliated, and told you'd never make it in tech again. That's exactly what happened to Whitney Wolfe Herd. So she did something almost nobody saw coming. She built a competitor from scratch, flipped the entire industry's rulebook, and became the youngest self-made female billionaire in the world. This is her story. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we break down the real stories behind the world's biggest empires, the setbacks, the reinventions, and the moments that changed everything. Today it's Whitney Wolfe Herd, founder and former CEO of Bumble. Her story isn't just about building an app. It's about what happens when you take the worst moment of your career and turn it into fuel. Here are 3 lessons from her rise. Let's break them down. Your worst setback can become your biggest opportunity. Whitney Wolfe Herd was a co-founder of Tinder, one of the apps that literally changed how an entire generation dates. She helped market it, helped it explode in popularity on college campuses, and was right there at the ground floor of a dating revolution. But behind the scenes, things fell apart. She left Tinder in 2014 amid a very public and painful dispute involving allegations of harassment and discrimination, which was covered extensively in the media at the time. It was messy, humiliating, and could have ended her career before it even started. Here's the real lesson. Most people would have disappeared after something like that. Instead, Wolfe Herd took a break, rebuilt her confidence, and asked herself a bigger question. What if dating apps put women in control instead of leaving them vulnerable? That question became Bumble. Think about how J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, or how Sarah Blakely got told, "Nope," by manufacturer after manufacturer before Spanx became a billion-dollar brand. Setbacks like these aren't the end of the story. They're the setup for the real one. The takeaway? Your lowest moment doesn't define your ceiling. Sometimes it's the exact thing that pushes you toward your biggest idea. Solve a real problem, not just a trendy one. When Whitney Wolfe Herd launched Bumble in 2014, the dating app market already felt crowded. Tinder was massive. Match Group had a dozen other apps. Common sense said there was no room left. But Wolfe Herd noticed something everyone else ignored. Women using dating apps were exhausted by unsolicited messages, harassment, and a total lack of control over their own inbox. So instead of copying what already existed, she built Bumble around one simple rule: in heterosexual matches, women message first. That one design choice completely repositioned the entire product. It wasn't just another dating app. It was a direct answer to a problem millions of women were quietly frustrated with every single day. A real-world parallel. Think about how Sarah Blakely didn't just make another shapewear product, she solved the specific problem of visible pantyhose seams. Or how Spanx worked because it fixed something existing products completely ignored. Wolfe Herd did the same thing in tech. She didn't outmarket Tinder. She outsolved it. The lesson here: you don't need to invent a brand new industry to build an empire. You need to spot the problem everyone else is overlooking inside an industry that already exists. Own your story, even when it's public. Here's what makes Whitney Wolfe Herd's rise genuinely remarkable. In February 2021, she took Bumble public on the Nasdaq. She rang the opening bell with her own son in her arms, and when the stock started trading, her stake in the company made her the youngest self-made female billionaire in the world at the time. But she didn't get there by hiding her past. She talked openly, in interviews and public appearances, about the pain of her Tinder exit and how it shaped Bumble's entire mission of safety and respect for women online. Instead of running from that chapter, she built her company's identity directly out of it. Compare that to how so many founders try to erase or bury their messy beginnings out of fear of judgment. Wolfe Herd did the opposite. She used her story as the foundation of her brand, and it became one of Bumble's biggest strengths in the eyes of investors and users alike. The third lesson: you don't have to hide the hard parts of your journey. Sometimes those exact moments are what make your empire believable and relatable to everyone watching. Let's bring it all together. Whitney Wolfe Herd got pushed out of one of the biggest apps in the world, humiliated in public, and told her career in tech might be over. Instead, she turned that setback into a mission, solved a real problem nobody else was addressing, and owned her story all the way to the Nasdaq Stock Exchange. That's not luck. That's resilience with a plan. And here's the truth: your comeback doesn't have to look like anyone else's. It just has to be built on something real, a problem worth solving, and a story worth telling. If Whitney Wolfe Herd's comeback story motivated you even a little, hit subscribe right now, because next week we're breaking down another empire built from rock bottom. Comment below. Which lesson hit you hardest? Turning setbacks into fuel, solving the real problem, or owning your story? And if someone in your life needs to hear this today, send them this video. I'll see you in the next one.